Ready? Okay.
B. Aggressive.
No.
Passive aggressive.
No.
Oh, okay. You were a
Immediately
cheerleader.
no.
Do you know any cheers?
Get that quarterback. Defense. Make contact.
That's stupid.
You're stupid.
Make contact?
Actually, the girls I work with,
Mm-hmm.
one of them is a cheerleader.
Okay.
The other one's a gymnast.
Oh.
The other one has no gymnast experience. We went to the beach and we were
Uh-huh.
like, let's stunt. And we did a stunt.
You need to start like a club or something.
But the girl that had never done it before,
Uh-huh.
she like literally launched our flyer like by accident, and then we had
in
to
a good way or
catch
bad
her
way?
like
Like too
not
high?
a good way.
Oh.
Yeah. Like
She's
launched
orbiting
her.
Earth right now. She's stuck in the.
Launched her.
She's stuck out in outer space.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was fun though, and I was like, oh my god, I remember being a cheerleader.
It is fun to throw those little bitches in the air.
Yeah.
Like watch them just soar.
Exactly.
Um.
Shut up.
Anyway.
Wait, my clip is falling out.
Oh no! What did the police say?
What?
Okay.
What are we doing today?
How is everyone? I actually made a promise to myself that I would stop asking rhetorical questions.
Yeah, can you stop doing that? I'm always like, okay,
well, I want to know, and no one
answer.
ever responds. It's very upsetting.
I have to answer.
You don't have to
I'm the only one in
answer.
here. Besides all the voices in your head.
Yeah, that's true. And
Today,
plus them, it's like 20 people.
Today, guys, are you ready?
I was
moving my mic around. We're just a mess. Today we are talking about how to make someone fall in love with you.
Yeah. Listen, it's a new year. And we're all here for romance. You know?
I'm not.
You're lying to yourself if you say that you don't want a man.
I am lying to myself because I wore red underwear on New Year's Eve.
There you go.
Which is supposed to manifest love. So,
it's supposed to manifest
husband,
love.
I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yes.
I'm 27 years old. Where is he?
Yeah, she's no money and no prospects.
I have no money and no prospects. I'm frightened.
But listen, if there's one thing that me and Molly are good at, it's manipulating men.
I have successfully gotten 2 men to fall in love with me.
Yeah.
What's your count?
At least 15. Did I love them back? No. But yeah, they're out there. They're wandering around.
So we were like, because I told him this thing that I had been thinking about, that I've been doing, trying to make this new man fall in love with me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize I was doing it.
Yeah.
And I told Ethan about it, and he was like, "Oh my god, I do that too." And then,
because there are a few little tricks that you can use. I mean, listen, you want to be yourself. No one should be like lying outright. But you got to play the game a little bit. You do.
Every rom-com ever where they we literally watched The Ugly Truth yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Where the girl or somebody is like pretending to be someone they're not, and then they end up with the person who loved them for even when they were their true self, not the one they were trying to be someone else for. So you want to take all these with a grain of salt. These are just our little manipulation tactics that have become second nature because we're psychopaths. But if you want to be not a psychopath, then just stay true to yourself.
Yeah, but also these are things that I would assume most, if not everyone on the dating scene has used at some point in time.
Probably.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them are not even
wise.
Conscious. But yeah, for the people who are good at flirting or kind of know how to navigate the dating scene, some of these may be familiar to you. But otherwise, this may be totally new information to you. So yeah, grab your notebook. Scooch in, turn the volume up, and get ready to take some notes.
Should I go first?
Yeah, class is in session.
Okay, so the thing that I was talking to Ethan about that I was like, oh my god, I didn't even realize I was doing this. It's called, I learned this in my psychology classes, the variable ratio reinforcement schedule. So a little bit of context. If you've ever been gambling or to a slot machine, you probably notice that you're not winning on every single time you pull the little lever.
Yeah.
And that is for a good reason, because the slot machines are designed with the variable ratio reinforcement schedule to get you addicted, because it has been found that this schedule creates an addictive pattern. Because if you won a penny every single time you went to the slot machine, it's not very fun.
No.
It's you never know when you're gonna win. It's sporadic,
and it's
random.
the thrill of
the thrill
not
of
knowing.
It could be the next one.
It could be the next one. even if you haven't been successful yet, you know what I mean? Like,
so basically this schedule is pretty random and sporadic, and there's no consistency with it. And so at the slot machines, you might lose, win $5, lose, win $3, lose, win $10. So it's like you never know how much, when you're going to lose, when you're going to make something, when you're going to. So, long story short, I use this in texting men. It's a little hack I've discovered, because think about it. If you've ever been texting somebody you're dating and they're very consistent, they always text you back immediately. It's kind of like boring because you know that they're interested, you know what to expect. We're all human. We can get bored easily.
And it's normal to question something, I think, too, if it comes too easily.
Yeah, you're like, why is this coming so easily?
Yeah, it almost makes you feel, I mean, we always say this, is like, when a guy's like overly interested, it makes you feel like you can do better. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah. So I use this with texting to, sometimes I text them back immediately. Sometimes it's an hour. Sometimes it's the next day. Yeah. They never know what they're going to get. Also, they never know if I'm going to be like belittling them, gently bullying them, or if I'm going to be like, oh, you're such a big, strong man. And I'm just, oh, you're so cute. And then the next sentence, I'm like, but you're not shit. And then they don't know what they're going to get. They don't know. You're also like kind of mysterious, mixed signals. This is really like toxic and manipulative.
Yeah, I'm like, geez, Molly.
But this is like, if you want them to fall in love with you.
Yeah, listen, you got to play the game, you know.
We're not saying that any of these are healthy. Okay, this is not necessarily the health expert episode.
And this is kind of a strategy to get to a point where you can have a healthy relationship.
Yes.
If you're still playing these games a year in, I'd say you've gone too far.
No.
You know what I mean?
This is like initial stages to keep someone
First
interested.
First few dates, you've maybe been talking like a month.
A healthy relationship looks much different than the things we're going to lay out. Like, consistent conversation when you're in a relationship is very important. And with most of the people in your life. But you know what? Dating is like supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a little cat and mouse game, and a little bit of a chase, a pursuer, and a pursuer, and you know, the person being pursued.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my first one.
I love that, because I actually didn't even realize I was kind of doing that with Ben. Even though I was, because I just have a bad memory. Like, I'll forget to text someone back.
Ethan has the worst memory I've ever
seen. Or I'm also just bad at texting in general. Like, I am so sorry if you've ever had to try to have a conversation with me over text. It's either all or nothing, kind of like the whatever process it is.
Yeah.
Because I will respond right away and tell you my full life story, or you won't hear from me for a month.
That's so true.
So there's really no in between. But
that's just by accident.
It keeps people guessing. Yeah. And like keeps them coming back for more. So if it works for you, it works. But one of my key ways to make someone fall in love with you is to make sure you say their name in conversation a lot, especially when you're talking to them. There has actually been studies that show when someone's name is used during a conversation with them, it can significantly increase their engagement, make them feel more connected to you, and generally improve the overall quality of the interaction. Since hearing their name activates brain regions associated with attention and personal identity. So it's making them feel kind of chosen and like you remember them.
Special.
Yeah, special. Even just by saying like, oh, like, you're so funny. Instead of saying that, say, oh, Charlie, you're so funny, or something like that. You know what I mean? Because then they feel like you remember their name, you know who they are, they feel valued.
When a man says my name, I don't know why I'm like, oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
even if it's over text. Yeah.
Yeah, even over text. I'm like, oh. So I've started doing it. And also, it doesn't just have to be in dating. I was just gonna say, when I meet new people for the first time and they remember my name, like in our first conversation, and they're like, okay, bye, Molly. I like remember. I'm like, oh, they remember my name.
Yes.
Like, I feel special, and
it's impressive.
Feel more deeply.
Yeah, because everyone feels like they aren't rememberable, or they like are easily forgotten. Especially because it's hard to remember names. That's why it's like,
I'm so bad. So I really try to remember. Yeah. And also, I actually do that in therapy in my practice. At the end of every session, I say, okay, bye, so-and-so to my client. Like, have a great week. And I say their name and I'm like, bye, so-and-so, rather than just like, okay, bye, because I want them to know that I like care. And
it makes it more personal.
I know their name and I'm like, I'm there for you.
Yeah. That's another reason I love, I mean, you don't want to do this right away because this could maybe come off a little creepy, but like a nickname, if you've like gotten to know the person a little bit more.
I love nicknames.
I think it's cute. Some people hate it, so like tread carefully.
I love getting a nickname. It makes you feel special.
I don't love getting one because Ethan is just a hard name to like make a nickname for. But I do love giving them to people.
Poo-poo isn't a very hard name.
We don't need to talk about it.
You guys, I shortened his nickname. If you've been listening, you know his nickname is Poo-poo. I was talking to him the other day.
For no particular reason, by the way. Like, it's not like I'm like shitting my pants every day, though it does happen.
You always have to point that out. But I was like, aw, he was saying something, and I was like, aw, poor Poopy.
Which, by the way, was not flattering whatsoever. Like no one wants to be called Poopy.
Poo-poo shortened even like further.
Yeah, it was atrocious. But yeah, giving someone a nickname can make them feel precious and adorable, and like you are breaking down a barrier and like getting to know them on a more intimate level than calling them by their full legal name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, what's another one of yours?
Okay, so my next one is if you really want someone to fall in love with you. This applies especially to men.
Mm-hmm.
You can wear red because red has been associated with attraction.
You told me this, and I like that's so interesting to me. Like I haven't heard that before.
And I didn't really know why. I did learn in psychology that when you wear red, it's associated with attraction. It can also make somebody aggressive.
Yeah.
Which is why you never want to have like a red therapy room because
that's why hospitals are always like seafoam green and like blue.
Very blue,
walls.
like soothing.
Yeah.
But I looked up on Wikipedia like why it is that we're attracted to red, and there's a couple theories. So the first one is evolution. In the wild, this is according to Wikipedia, in the wild, when many species of non-human primate females become fertile, their estrogen levels rise, which causes their blood vessels to open up, leading to redness on the skin, especially in their face. The color displays it's called sexual swelling. The increase in redness
I think we're all familiar with that.
The increase in redness has been shown to attract male counterparts, expressed by their increased activity in sex, self-stimulation, and attention towards the females.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you see someone who's like blushing, it's like usually a sign that they're like, oh, haha.
That they're interested. Yeah.
That they're interested, or like they're like nervous
and aroused. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same goes for like baboons' butts. If they were just like a pale gray color, they would be a lot less exciting. But they're like the hotties of the animal kingdom because they have pink cheeks. Do you know what I mean?
It also says another theory is that it's just social conditioning and that we have just adapted to associate red with attraction. The connection between the color red and sexual attraction may be a result of social conditioning. In ancient mythology and folklore, red is associated with fertility. Similarly, red was used as a symbol of fertility in the rituals of ancient civilizations.
Interesting.
So there's a couple theories, but basically red, there's also like a TikTok trend that's called the red nail theory. And I heard that like if you want a man to fall in love with you, you wear red nails. And the theory behind that, according to TikTok, was like it reminds men of their mothers,
which is kind of gross.
A lot of red nails in the 80s and like 90s was a trend, so it kind of reminds them of like home and comfort. My mom wore like red nails for a long time. Yeah. That was
which
like
is so weird that like men would see that and be like, oh, you know.
Yeah, but it's like home and like
no, I get it. And like, you know, psychologically speaking, most of us do end up with someone who's like similar to at least one of our parents
because it's comfort. It's like what you're familiar with.
And you seek out like what you know for sure. But that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know the whole like red theory.
Yeah,
I'll have to pick out some red.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Santa is such a sex icon. He's always wearing red.
Yeah.
You know, who else? Exactly. Jessica Rabbit, doesn't she wear like a red dress?
Yeah, and then like in The Mask, Cameron Diaz is wearing a red dress.
Yeah. I made me realize too, like a lot of rom-coms, like the moment when the girl has her like reveal,
she comes out in red.
They're always wearing a red dress.
Yeah.
It's because it is like attention, like it grabs your attention.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, that's really good. One of mine is just to make sure to engage in a lot of eye contact. And you know, don't be weird about it. Like don't like lock eyes and like, you know, make like a weird like face. But try to smile with your eyes. This is so key, especially even if it's like from across the room, or even if you're not talking to the person but you're both there and like listening to someone else speak. Just give them a little glance and like smile at their eyes. And people pick up. Trust me when I tell you that like your body language and the facial expression that you're giving off is like so crucial.
Yeah, I actually used this when I was like 14.
Did you? It
and
works.
I read it in a 17 magazine. It
There you
said
go.
I was very religiously using the 17 magazine tips at 14 because I had no idea what I was doing. My first kiss, it said when you kiss someone, you should count to 3 in your head. That's how long a kiss should be. So when I had my first kiss, I went 1, 2,
she said clock starting now
in my head, and then stopped the kiss. And then it also said like if you want somebody to like you, you look at them, you hold eye contact, look them up and down, smile, and then look away.
Yeah.
And I did that when I was at this nerdy engineering camp when I was like 14 or 15 with this guy that was so cute. I don't even remember his name, but he was so cute and I had a crush on him. And I saw him like in our little group meeting and I looked at him, he looked at me, we held eye contact. I looked him up and down, smiled, looked away, and he approached me later. He knew I was interested.
It works.
We had a little like summer camp fling.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's so important. Like what do they call it? The down, up, down or whatever. Like you basically make eye contact so that they see you. You look down briefly, kind of shyly, and then wait a second and then look back up and make eye contact with them again. And then that's how they like know that it's interested. But yeah, that works like a charm. And then I kind of like try to act like every conversation with them is like a first date. So when you're doing this, try to flirt with your eyes, smile. Honestly, just being like an active listener is like
be present.
Yeah, be present, and like that can convey a lot of interest as well.
Yeah. Going back to the eye thing, that was one of mine was hold eye contact, but be the first one to look away. So this can apply to other things. Always be the first one to end the call. Always be the first one to end the date. Always be the first one to end a kiss. Because it leaves them wanting more. And also it's kind of like a self-fulfilling placebo effect. What it makes them feel like they are pursuing you, like because they're holding on a little longer and they're like, oh, maybe I like this person a little more than I thought I did because I'm always the one pursuing and they're ending it. And they, it leaves some mystery. Like you're interested, you're going on these dates, but you're also ending it. So like there's more to be desired. If you're like trying to spend every moment with this person after the first date, there leaves nothing to be desired. There leaves no mystery. And it can be like a lot to come on fast. Yeah. It can be like too much too fast. Yeah. So that's one of my tips. Yeah.
I will say you should be careful with that though. The only thing is like you want to convey that you are interested. Just don't, you know what I mean? Because if you are the one to always pull back, they may get the wrong impression. So just make sure that while you are doing those things, you're also flirting, engaging in eye contact, and doing all of these other steps as well.
Initiating equally, like you can initiate the kiss, you can like initiate a date equally after the first date, but then
you gotta
the
go.
First one to end it.
Yeah, gotta go. Yeah, and then another one of mine that kind of goes along the similar lines of that is don't try too hard. Basically, it's important to know when to walk away. So if it looks like things are getting weird or awkward, what I'll always do is just like make a joke or say something flirty and then walk away or leave the situation. Because then they're going to be thinking about what you just said when you walk away.
Yeah.
Even though you're not there. And so you're on their mind even if you're not in front of them, So like be like, oh, Jeremy, you're so funny. Especially when you look at me like that. I can't believe you do that in front of people. And then you walk away and they're like, what was I looking at them like? They get like in their head about it.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one of mine is wearing the same good smelling perfume every time you see them.
So scent is really important.
So it activates previous memories, like good feelings with you. Like, oh, I remember last time I smelled this, we were bowling and we hugged and it was so romantic, and it brings back, because scent is the strongest connection to like memory.
I love that.
So they're gonna like associate it, and then maybe they smell that perfume in the wild and then they think of you. So,
yeah.
And also I was telling my coworkers that I do this with like different phases in my life. So like in high school I was wearing Victoria's Secret bombshell perfume. And now if I see somebody and I want them to remember me from like high school, I wear the same perfume. And I have one from college.
It works though too, I have to say. Like I didn't even mean to do this, but there was a cologne I bought prior to studying abroad, and I only wore it studying abroad, and then I smelled it
And you had all these
after I
memories
had
flashback?
returned from like Italy, and I felt like I had
Flashback?
returned from like Italy, and I felt like I was there. It was so weird.
It's so weird.
It really evokes like a very nostalgic time specific to when you were like wearing that smell.
And the reason for that is because your olfactory neurons that in your nose are directly connected to your brain.
Interesting.
Whereas all of your other senses have to go through like a different medium.
Yeah.
And go through your brainstem and they kind of get lost in translation. Whereas the nose is the closest sense to your brain.
Yeah. I mean, that being said too, you don't want to like walk around and have like a snail trail of like perfume. You know what I mean? Like try to like keep it like normal. We don't want a horse bath.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a distinct smell or like something that's especially unique to you is important.
Yeah.
Like don't get the one perfume that like every fucking person has.
My one friend, she has been wearing the same perfume since she was in like middle school, and she's like, I just want everyone to know like this is my scent, and like when they smell me,
I love that. It's like signature.
Yeah. It's her signature. Yeah.
That's really cute. One of mine too is kind of similar to what you said as far as like pulling back and being the first to end things. There's been like the debate about playing hard to get is ongoing, I'd say. Like a lot of people say do it, don't do it. Statistically speaking, and like based off of like what the actual research shows, and as someone who like literally was a sociology major, we tend to like people who like us. Like if you ever even think about like your coworkers or like the friends that you've made, usually
if
it's
they're
because
like, oh, you're so funny, you're like, oh,
yeah,
you're funny.
Yeah, exactly. So like I would say it's rare to like bond with someone and connect with someone who you feel like doesn't like you. You know what I mean? Even if they do like you, there is an added obstacle by feeling like they aren't interested in you. You're not going to go talk to that person as much because you don't feel like they're approachable. Do you know what I mean? So from that point of view, I would say that like basically a basic human trait that psychologists have learned is that the reciprocity of attraction is key. So like if you do want to encourage someone else to feel good about you, try to express some degree of affection towards them. I wouldn't be too don't come on too strong, don't love bomb obviously.
Yeah.
But like paying a compliment is super easy.
Yeah.
Telling them you like their hair.
Yeah.
Anything like that. But if you are going to play hard to get, I would say aim for ambiguity about how you feel rather than like being like, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I think people think that playing hard to get means you act like you hate the person.
Literally, when I was in high school, I don't know why it worked a lot better for me to actually play hard to get and be like, I don't like you. Like, you're okay. Now when I do that in bars, I was like adopted that mentality or held on to that mentality into college. And when I would go to the bars in college and do that, nobody approached me. And I'm like thinking back, I'm like, obviously I was giving off a vibe that I hated everyone.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, when I give off a really friendly vibe and I smile and I'm like more approachable and I go up to people and start conversations, I get hit on a lot more.
Yeah, it's true. It's
nobody
weird
wants
how
to
that
go
like
up to somebody that's like closed off and
they have
to like
weird.
crack the safe. They're not that intrigued just from a first look. Sorry, probably not.
Unless you're like literally Angelina Jolie, I would not be doing that. But yeah, it's weird how that shift happens like after middle school or high school because I think it's cool to be the one who's like antisocial at that age almost, or like the one who's like not trying. But pretty quickly, I'd say, once you transfer into college, you realize that like reaching out to people and like making a degree of effort is a lot more attractive.
Well, I think also in high school, you're kind of forced into conversation with those classmates. You're spending a lot more time with them. You're spending all day with them. You're spending clubs with them, sports. So I was like forced into conversation with those guys. So they didn't know me and they knew that I was like a nice person, but I was like playing hard to get. So it was easier to have that like back and forth. Whereas in college, you're only seeing them like one class or like out at a bar. So yeah.
But don't be afraid to like make the chase a little harder and be like, oh, you know, if they ask you out on Friday, be like, oh, sorry, I think I have plans Friday. Even if you don't, like say that you do and then be like, but how about Sunday? Do you know what I mean? Like it's not a bad idea, especially like early on in the relationship to kind of like delay a little bit. It's also a good test to kind of see how interested they are because if they are willing to wait the extra day, then it means means they probably like you as well. So that can kind of give you some information.
I have like 2 or 3 that kind of go along with exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
So number 1, always prioritize your needs over theirs at the beginning. Obviously, once you're in a relationship, you might need to sacrifice some things to make the relationship work. But at the beginning, you're not going out with them on like a Friday or Saturday night at prime, like girl time, girls night out. I've heard like Thursday is the best day for a first date
I
because
love
it
a Thursday date
shows,
night.
that you like have a life and you have plans and
Same.
So you want your life to appear, even if it's not, full and vibrant.
Yeah.
And that you don't need them because truly you don't. You don't need anyone else. You have yourself. Obviously, we are social creatures and we need connection, but like you don't truly need just this one person to like fall in love with you.
Well, you shouldn't be dating with that mindset either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you are in the dating game, like desperate to find that one person to like make your life complete,
maybe
bestie,
focus on
like
some other things.
take some time off. Yeah.
And then along with that, always say less than what you are thinking. Men love a little mystery and puzzles. Like, why do you think they go into law enforcement and engineering? They love a mystery.
They do.
They want to solve it.
Yeah.
They love puzzles. They want to figure it out. Have you ever seen a man doing a puzzle? He's freaking determined.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Say less than what you're thinking. Like, don't say everything that's on your mind. And lastly, going along with this idea of like kind of playing a little hard to get, always have them come to your house, never go to their house.
Yeah.
I heard this on TikTok and it's actually true. Like I was thinking back to people I've dated and the ones that I was more interested in, I was always going to their house. And the ones that were more interested in me, they were always coming to me.
It is like it's a power thing. It is. Which always I hate to say that because like you don't want to think about that when you're like trying to fall for someone. And hopefully you're both equally interested in that you can switch off going to whose place. But yeah, if you can, try to have them come to you. Also, it's just nice to not have to get in the car and drive. You know what I mean? Or if you are going to go to them, be like, okay, but you're calling me an Uber. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've had men offer that before, which is nice. Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be the one that's like, let me come over. Like, what's the code to your price? Like, I'm showing up. Like, yeah.
It's also, like, I don't know if you've ever been there, but, like, it's so awkward, like, going to a man's house.
And then they're like, oh, I have to, like, go grocery shopping.
Yes. Or not even that, but, like, if you're trying to get in the building and, like, you're standing outside texting them.
It just gives really desperate.
It's so awkward. I hate it so deeply.
I hate it, too. That's why I'm like, I'm not doing that again.
I've endured it for, like, hookups and stuff, but, yeah, I usually will, like, make them come to me. Because it's just easier, you know.
Yeah. What's another one?
This one, okay. This is like seems very simple, but I promise you it is very effective. And especially with men. Like if you are trying to get a man to fall for you, this is going to be your hidden gem. Ask for their advice or ask for help with something. Men love to feel useful and like they are providing something, whether it's for another man if you're gay or for a girl especially. They like to feel like they are providing a service and taking care of the people that they care about. Even if it's something as simple as like asking them to grab something off the high shelf.
I've heard this, but like I'm so type A and so independent that I've already had everything in my house is fixed. Everything is done. Like I don't need.
Yeah, but like
I guess I'll just go break my own sink. Like
break your own sink, girl. I'm telling you. Like they will. I mean, you don't want it to be like something so extreme. The like, can you like repair my car? You know what I mean? Like unless they're literally a mechanic, I would not be asking that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to make them feel like there's something they can't do. Like if it's a skill they don't have. But if it's something like opening a pickle jar that's like stuck, or like I don't know, like something, just keep it simple. I would say. Because that's going to build a bridge between you guys. And then it feels like he helped you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's something more between you than just like conversation. You have added value he can feel like he's added value to your life. And in a weird way, you've given him value by giving him a purpose and making him feel needed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it works. Or just like ask for career advice, ask for like anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to always have to be like a physical like job, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Another one of mine is This is specifically for girls. Um, put your hair in a girly hairstyle. So I have mine in these little clips. I think I talked about this in one of our like Italy recap episodes, but when
Mm.
I did my hair like this, it's kind of giving like pigtails. I look like a little girl and I it's so disgusting,
It
but
is
I
giving
got
like
hit on
kindergarten a little bit.
so much in Italy when my hair was like this. I don't know, it's kind of like gross and pedophilic, but men love like little girly hairstyles
Yeah.
and femininity. So lean into that at the beginning. Like if it's not you, it's fine, but I
Yeah,
found
I tried
that
that and it didn't work for me.
if it's not
Wasn't
you,
as
you don't have to
effective.
do this if you don't want to like if you're not very feminine, but if you like play up the femininity on your first date and get your nails like really long, make put your hair in a really cute hairstyle, wear lots of jewelry, wear light colors like a light blue,
Yeah.
or you can wear red if you want to like bedazzle and do the red nail effect. Um, but just playing up the femininity and skirts, dresses, they love it. Yeah, they go
Yeah,
crazy.
I will say. I mean, probably depends on the kind of guy you're trying to attract too. Um, but especially if they're going to be more traditional. Um, and unfortunately, even if they don't realize that they're traditional, a lot of men do think this way.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with like owning your assets and playing
Yeah.
up like your gender or your femininity or whatever it is. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah. Or
same
it could
goes
just be
for
your personal style. Like if you lean into your personal style and wear something funky, it's more of like a talking piece and more interesting. And
yeah,
that can be on the first date. It could be later and you're interesting to them. Like you have more going on than just a black tee and like some jeans, you know?
yeah.
You're an interesting, fulfilled person.
And
So
I'd say if you're ever in doubt about what to wear on like a date, I would lean more like classic. I mean, pick something that like expresses your personality that you feel comfortable in. But like if you're really struggling, like lean into like the more classic silhouettes, like men wearing like pants or trousers and like a button-up shirt or like a t-shirt tucked into jeans if you want to keep it more casual. Um, yeah, just like think of like an old Hollywood star and like what would they wear? You know what I
oh, I
mean?
like that. Yeah.
Because that's what I try to do. Um, and then one of mine is don't be afraid to establish body contact. Obviously you want to be past like the introduction phase with this person when you do this. But even if it's just like giving them a hug when you see them instead of a handshake, like a handshake is going to be a little bit too formal. You
Oh
use
no,
that
don't do a handshake.
in like a like that's not the vibe. If you're trying to like establish like a romantic relationship, go for the hug, give them like a little pat on the arm. If you're like laughing at one of their jokes, lean in because that's going to establish a lot of like I don't know, it just makes you feel more close to the person. Same when you're talking to them, lean in, make eye contact. I love like a soft like bicep touch on a guy when I like think that they're cute or like I'm trying to flirt. Because it sends like a very subtle signal too. Um, I mean, make sure it's not like your boss or whoever that you're doing this to. Like, read the time and place. But I think that can be really effective. Obviously, don't do it anywhere inappropriate. Like, you don't want to be like grabbing someone under the table. That's like a little aggressive. Um, but yeah, like a little bit of body contact, I think is good.
Yeah. I agree. That was actually one of mine, but I don't think I wrote it down. I always like I'm really bad with physical I actually love physical touch,
Yeah,
but get really nervous and I get awkward like on first dates or when I
yeah,
first meet someone that I don't know what to do.
yeah,
But I try to just like be comfortable and like touch their hand like it could just be a tap. It could be anything, just establish it somehow, just on their shoulder.
yeah. It doesn't
Um
have to be super long.
I usually when I'm like standing next to a guy and he like says a joke, I'll like bump into him with my whole body
Yeah,
because you're like applying pressure and touching them, but it's like you don't have it's not super intimate. It's just
yeah.
like a nudge.
It's cute. I like it.
Um, Another one of mine is gently bully them. Um, make them think about that they don't, or make them think that you don't care about them and they will vie for your affection. This only really works for anxious attachment people, but a lot of people are anxiously attached in this world. A lot of us are insecure. So if you just like gently bully them and you're like, you're not hot shit. Like you It's can be like jokingly. They, especially straight men, I found, go crazy when I am like